Gracchus is a sand-swept desert ruin ravaged by a planet-wide chemical storm. Once home to a planet-spanning forest of unfathomably large trees, it's now that forest's graveyard. Its stone-like petrified remains looming monolithically through the ages. Colossal alien life forms tower across the land like a waking existential nightmare, while smaller, sand-battered creatures resiliently carve homes into the stone trees, surviving on the colorful paste-filled sacks found in stone-shelled vegetation. Over it all, the storm. A tempestuous sheet of chemicals and gases that blankets the land. Pulsating with immeasurable power, the storm constricts and expands, raging along the surface before retreating to ravage the skies, again and again through millennia. There's much to be discovered here, and the storm will almost certainly be the key. We must use it carefully, though, or the roads it provides may lead to our death.
Greetings from Gracchus, a sun-baked global desert where the physics, creatures, and massive electrical storm may shock you.
Maneuvering across Gracchus will require you to consider not only your two-dimensional movement from location to location, but also the current altitude of your floating or planet-bound explorers.
Gracchus's additional dimension of elevation changes everything. Some actions can only be taken on the planetary surface, while others require you to be far above the ground. Finding ways to move between these elevations is a huge part of the challenge that you'll face.
Now, further complicating matters, the planet-wide storm also moves between these different elevations as well. Whether you want to avoid or enter the storm is an ever-present question.
Because the storm can hurt you.
Well, because it's a storm.
Right, because where there's power, there's power. And sometimes the risk is worth the reward, particularly when the reward is avoidance of otherwise assured death.
You see, Gracchus's petrified wasteland is a graveyard of an ancient forest and perhaps whole ancient civilizations, and if you're not careful, it may be yours too.
Space is hard.
Try harder. When you set up to play Gracchus, first set up the game with the standard setup according to the framework rules, obviously.
Then, shuffle and stack the energy storm cards face down in the area designated for planet-specific cards. Then, flip the top card face up.
After that, place the Storm Tracker tile next to the Energy Storm cards and Mystery Card A next to that. On the Storm Tracker, place all the Explorer avatars on the grounded half of the tracker and the Storm token on the elevated half.
Place all of Gracchus's punchboard tokens in the planet-specific token pile.
And place the Storm Trigger token on the second to last space of the timeline.
Now don't let the surging electrical storms blow you over with these new mechanics to keep track of. You're gonna be fine. You have Lunar, remember?
Now, let's talk about elevation.
Elevation is tracked on the Storm Tracker tile. Your explorer is considered grounded or elevated, depending on where their avatar is on the Storm Tracker tile.
Interacting with the scarab and most structures requires you to be grounded.
If an effect directs you to adjust or change your elevation, then you must do so.
When directed to set or become a specific elevation, you must do so unless you're already there.
But if an effect says you may adjust or set your elevation, then the action is optional.
The Storm Tracker not only tracks your elevation, but it also tracks the storm's elevation.
Go figure. If an explorer's token is ever on the same half of the tile as the storm's token, then that explorer is considered to be in the storm.
Whenever the time marker reaches the Storm Trigger token, the storm token is moved to the other section on the Storm Tracker tile, elevated to grounded or vice versa.
Then place the current Energy Storm card at the bottom of the pile and flip over a new face-up Energy Storm card. Now the effect on the Energy Storm cards don't resolve this time. They resolve when an effect directs you to resolve them, which we'll get to in a moment.
Merely entering the storm does not incur any penalty. However, prolonged exposure to the storm can be very detrimental.
When you start your turn in the storm, you gain a distress, and the distress cards on Gracchus tell you to resolve the current Energy Storm effect, which is found on the current face-up Energy Storm card.
Listen, some of the discoveries on Gracchus require some actual hunting around to find them. As you explore, you will see discoveries on some of the nodes, but there is no action space that enables you to acquire them.
In order to get these discoveries, you must find an action space that refers to them, which are primarily found on opportunity cards. Perform the investigate action on the planet's nodes to reveal opportunities and find actions associated with the various discoveries that you see on the map.
Now, conversely, your investigations may reveal evidence that a certain discovery exists in the world, but if you haven't revealed the full map yet, You need to go find it.
Well, we better get back to surviving if we don't want to get eaten or electrocuted or electro-eaten.
See you in the storm.